Chapter 12. The long journey finally comes to an end. Long, long ago. Nari, Zolan, and Zara sit gathered around the source in their basement. Believe it or not, Nari says, this artifact actually has a mind and will of its own. If you calm yourself and clear your mind, you might even hear it speak to you. Zara and Zolan close their eyes and take deep breaths to reach a state of serenity. "Hey!" Zara exclaims. "I think I heard something. I think I heard it say, 'Hello, little one.'" Present day. Zolan, Katrina, and Viteria keep traveling northward. When they finally reach the coast, they rent a boat to help them cross the waters into Sorcia. Zolan and Viteria use their sorcery to keep the magical storm at bay. In secret, Katrina tells Artis telepathically that there is no way for him to follow them any further, but when she has the source in her control, she's sure she'd be able to use its power to bring them back together. In Sorcia, the three agree that it would probably be a good idea to keep a low profile. Even though it has been years since anyone in Sorcia has seen them, Viteria and Zolan both left as fugitives, after all, and Katrina is pretty obviously an outsider. They stick mostly to the countryside and avoid passing through settlements. Finally, they come to the waterfall that a younger Zolan and Viteria had passed through so many years ago. They pass through into the cave until they reach the end and, just as they did the first time, use their magic to move the boulder hiding the secret path. Inside the chamber of the source itself still shines with a bright green light, but the room itself has succumbed to severe decay. The stone floor and walls are in a bad state of disrepair, and an impressive chain and lock bind the door that is the regular entrance to the chamber. Viteria runs up and strikes the source with her mace, but nothing happens. "Damn it," she says. "I had a feeling it wouldn't be that easy." Katrina walks up and grabs the source. She laughs triumphantly and says, "At long last, it's ours!" "Ours?" Zolan asks. Katrina uses her newfound magical abilities to summon Artis into the room. He still wears the dark cloak he wore when he killed Zara, and his hood hides his head. In unison, Zolan says, "Father?" and Viteria says, "Uncle?" Artis lowers his hood and says, "No." "Wait a minute," Zolan says. "So it was you! You're the ones who were using me and Zara to get to the source. You killed her, didn't you? Why did you do it? I thought we were friends." "Because there is so much suffering in the world, Zolan," Katrina says. "Only with the power from this artifact will we be strong enough to end all suffering and finally bring peace to the world." Viteria scoffs. "It seems like you've had to cause a lot of suffering just to get here." "Of course we didn't want to have to betray our friends," Artis says. "But sometimes sacrifices must be made for the greater good." "It's not like you're all that holy either," Katrina says. "In a blind rage, you killed an innocent man, your own father." "I know I've made mistakes," Zolan says, "and I've always had a hard time thinking before I act. But now, I really am thinking. It is because I am thinking that I oppose you. Help people and change the world for the better sounds nice on the surface to someone who doesn't think about it more clearly. I still stand by what I said all that time ago, when I told you there are better ways to help people. What about when we helped those people with the bandits and the taxes? We did all of that without the aid of the source. And I am not opposing you out of blind anger or sorrow over what you've done," Viteria says. "I'm opposing you because what you're doing could put the entire world in danger. Our people kept the source hidden from the world for a reason. If you go out there and start performing miracles, People will wonder where you got the power to do such things. Eventually, they will find out about what you carry with you. They will try to take it from you, and eventually, they will succeed. As much as I hate to admit it, at least you two had good intentions. I don't even want to think of a world where the greatest power in all of existence is held by a truly selfish person. It seems to me you're the ones who aren't thinking before you act and letting your passions blind you. We're wasting our breath, Artis says, drawing his dagger. Let's just finish this already. Katrina shoots a fireball from her hands. Zolin and Viteria jump to either side so that it goes between them. We now control the source, Katrina says. Do you really think you have any chance against us? You may control the source, Viteria says, but we are sourcelings. Magic flows through our veins. You need the source just to be on par with us. Viteria and Zolin fire off blasts of magical energy, and Katrina and Artis duck out of the way to avoid them. Artis runs forward and starts swinging his dagger. Zolin summons a gust of wind that knocks him back. Zolin, Viteria says. It looks like he doesn't have magic. Let's target him first. Shut up, bitch! Katrina screams. She conjures a shard of ice, a bolt of electricity, and a fireball, and hurls them all at once at Viteria. Viteria calls up a magical barrier to protect her. It is enough to absorb some of the energy, but not all of it. She is knocked down and onto her back. Artis runs up to try to stab Viteria while she's down. Viteria fires a blast of magical energy that knocks Artis back. She aims it so that he is knocked toward Zolin. Zolin grips his spear as he holds it straight out. Artis is impaled on it. Artis! No! Katrina cries. She falls to her knees and starts sobbing. She holds the source directly out in front of her and stares at it for a moment. What are you doing, Katrina? Viteria says. Katrina thrusts the source toward her and pushes it inside her body. Katrina, no! Zolin yells. There's a blinding flash of green light. Zolin and Viteria have to shield their eyes. When the light subsides, they see that Katrina and the source have become one. Katrina's body is still in its normal shape, but it seems to be composed entirely of glowing green energy. Katrina raises her hands into the air. The ceiling starts to collapse. Zolin and Viteria dart around, trying to avoid the falling ceiling, but pieces of rubble hit them and knock them to the ground. Katrina slowly walks forward. Zolin shoots a fireball and it hits her directly, but it seems to be absorbed into her body. Then, without even having to move a muscle, Katrina shoots an even larger fireball out of her body. Viteria and Zolin frantically scramble to escape its path, and it leaves a nice scorch mark on the ground. Zolin and Viteria use magic to lift bits of rubble and fling them at Katrina. They hit her body, but she doesn't seem to even be fazed by them. When the pieces of rubble impact with her, they just fall harmlessly to the ground. Katrina slams her fist onto the ground, creating an explosion that knocks Viteria and Zolin down. They lay beside each other. Zolin grabs Viteria's hand. Come on, old friend, he says. We can't lose this fight now. We are strong enough to win. We just have to work together. Viteria and Zolin's bodies glow with energy. Their separate physical and spiritual energies momentarily become one. They shoot forward together, turning themselves into a shot of magical energy. They pierce right through Katrina and emerge, separate, on the other side. Katrina lets out an ethereal scream. There is another flash of light. When the light fades, Katrina and the source are nowhere to be seen. Zolin and Viteria stand alone in the ruined room. Is it over? Zolin wonders. Viteria waves her hands around, trying to cast magic, but nothing happens. Yeah, it's over, she says.